lot of stuff to get to,
Yes,
a lot
sir.
of issues to talk about, and surprisingly enough, it's not going to be a lot of sports,
Right.
but it's going to be sports related.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, as we always say, everything that we do ties into the sports aspect some kind of way. But before we do that, if anybody is concerned, if anybody cares, we're going to give some scores. We got some preseason football going on. So I'm going to give some scores from yesterday. And 2 games yesterday. One was the Pittsburgh versus Atlanta. Pittsburgh takes that game 17-13.
Mm-hmm.
The second game, we don't have a score because it ended late, so they
Right.
didn't produce the scores. But you had 2 games. You had about a few games on Saturday, had games all weekend. And like I said, if anyone cares, we have some preseason football going on. Now, just to backtrack and reminder a little bit, 2 weeks ago, I had a good friend sitting there with me, Phil Hayes. Phil, what's up, Phil? If you tuned in, you listening, shout outs to you. And we talked about boycotting football and
Mm-hmm.
how people have been going on a rant and saying that they were going to boycott football. And the question was posed to me, was I going to boycott? And my answer was genuine, it was truthful. And what I said was, I think it would be kind of hard for me to boycott football, being as though I do a sports show. So
Mm-hmm.
it's part of my job to give you updates, and we're on Monday. So we naturally, football is Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. You know, when it gets into the meat of the season, it's all 3 days. But for the most part, it's Sundays. So we got to give you scores. And if we don't do anything but give you scores, we will definitely do that for anyone who is concerned again. Now, the second part of my response to that was that I felt like everybody wants to boycott football during the regular season. And I said, people, think about this, think this through before you just blurt out and say you're going to boycott the regular season, because it's 17 weeks.
Right.
And it's a multi-billion-dollar operation that we're talking about. So if I sit here and say I'm going to boycott football in the regular season, there's people all over the world
True.
that watch football. I mean, football is global, like basketball.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these sports that we watch are global. So I could sit here and say I'm going to boycott, I'm not going to watch the regular season, but really won't make a dent in the situation,
Right.
if you will, because it's so many other people that probably will not boycott. But what I mentioned was, I said, people, if you're going to boycott, it has to mean something. You have to make the people feel something. And I said, boycott the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody said, well, why would you boycott the Super Bowl? I said, it's a week-long celebration, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of money involved. And I said, naturally, people always get in a tizzy when their pockets get touched.
Oh, they do.
I mean, regular Joes like us, if you will, to the big wigs, the multi-billionaires. And if their pockets start to get touched, then they get in a tizzy.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I said that, I said because I just feel like it will make a bigger statement. It'll make a bigger thump in that regard, because you got, like I said, a week of activities. You got hotels and businesses planning for this Super Bowl. And I said, and then on top of that, everybody watches the Super Bowl for the Super Bowl, but you also watch for the commercials.
True. True.
Millions of dollars for a 30-second TV slot.
Yeah.
If people boycott that and nobody's watching these commercials, and you know, people they attempt to be very creative in these commercials. So if you boycott that, I think that will make a bigger impact in the statement that you're trying to make.
Yeah. And it's all about the ratings. It all comes down to ratings. That's how they get their money as well. And when you look at it, like you just said, D, about boycotting the Super Bowl, it's almost like if you're in the 8th grade or in the 12th grade, you're about to graduate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they can make your whole year uneasy. But why do that when I can get you on graduation day, graduation week?
Yep.
When you think you're about to graduate and walk down that aisle, and then I run back your information and say, oh no, you was late. Oh no,
that's right.
See,
and that's usually how it works. That's usually how they get you.
And then hit you when it hurts.
Because you could think you're graduating, and then that week of graduation or that week before graduation, you get that little card. That little card comes to your house and listen, Dwayne, you got to go to summer school because you missed this assignment and this class and this and that, and you were already in the planning your party and everything. Now it's like
you'll get your diploma in the mail.
Yeah,
right. And like you said, making the impact. I think that's a brilliant idea. I've never even thought about going that route. My whole brain was on the seasons. I never really thought about, well, hey, that week or that 2 weeks, however they're going to do it, is probably the most impactful time for the NFL.
Yep.
That makes perfect sense because that's where they really make all their money and shared revenue.
Yep.
So I think that's a perfect idea. I think that's an idea that you should coin, put a stamp on it.
That's it.
And that people should take that because, like you said, it's going to be hard for people not to watch. I was at a bar last week with my cousin.
It's going to be hard.
And it was on right now. He knows I'm talking about boycotting. And he said, I seen you look up at that TV 3 times already. I said, well, it's on.
Right.
Like, it's hard for me not to look up.
And, you know, it's going to be hard. And I said to myself, I know some people that said they're going to boycott. And I was going to strategically, once the regular season started, I was going to strategically post things to see what kind of responses I get from some of the people who said they were going to boycott. But it just goes back to that point of what you just said. If you're sitting somewhere on a Sunday when football season starts, and we all know football season starts, football is Sunday. Sunday is football day.
It's not even church anymore.
Once you get into the college swing of things, you got Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
And how many people, like you just mentioned, you were in a bar and the TV was on, you can't help it but look up. You know, even if you don't do it on purpose, you may sit there, take a sip of your drink, say, I need another drink, but the TV's right there, so it's in your line of sight. But the other thing is Sunday. And if you're home, guys, you're home. And ladies, if you like football as well, you're home on a Sunday. Sunday can get really boring because it's nothing on. You get football from 8, 9 a.m. up until 11, 12 o'clock at night on Sunday. So your whole day is pretty much consumed with football. And if you don't watch football, what are you going to watch? You know, and like you said, the boycott in itself won't really matter to the people that run the multi-billion-dollar business because, like I said, I could get 15 people to say in the city, say, look, we gonna boycott, we gonna be strong with it. We not gonna watch. We gonna watch movies, Fire Stick, whatever it is, whatever else we can watch on Sunday. We gonna watch reruns, old school, whatever. At some point, you gonna pick up your phone.
You gonna have to.
If you don't do anything, you gonna check scores. You may not watch, but you gonna check scores because you have a stake in interest. Fans, your favorite team. You may say you're gonna boycott, but in the back of your mind, you're gonna go back and say, I want to know what the score was.
Yeah, it's just in your nature.
It's just in your nature. And like we said, 15 people in the city could boycott, but it's going to be 15 million people around the world that are still going to watch. And like we said, it's so much that goes into the regular season as far as people watching. So many people are watching that you can boycott. You can get 100 people to boycott. It won't make a difference.
Yeah,
the regular season to be hard. It could be done,
it can be,
but it would be very difficult.
It can touch ratings to a certain point, but for the most, it's really not going to put a dent in it. We're talking about a possible